So, welcome to day number 2 in the Olympics. It's actually day -1 because yesterday was day -2. It's hard to believe that the Olympics has already started, and there are certain events that are, well, I mean, if you look at, well, they're kind of a third of the way through, and it's not even considered the real start of the Olympics. So anyway, what's happened today in the Olympics? Once again, there was only 2 sports that were played. There was softball and there was football that was played. Now, the softball, very low scores. 2 teams, Japan and the United States of America, got their second wins in a row. United States had a 1-0 win over Canada. Quite a competitive game, but you kind of expect the United States to do kind of well. And of course, Japan being the host nation, and of course from the baseball side, we all know how good Japan is. They beat Mexico 3-2. It was quite a surprise because Mexico lost the day before, and they managed to bounce back against Canada, and now they managed to bounce back and have a competitive game against Japan. However, Mexico and Italy are 2 teams that haven't won a game yet. Mexico's lost, Italy hasn't even scored yet, so it's a bit of a tough one for both teams. Now, on the other hand, the football, well, yes, there was full of surprises with the football, and today, once again, not really surprises, but we got to see a little bit more from the teams. Now, I suppose the biggest surprise is actually the 0-0 draw between Spain and Egypt. I mean, the Spanish team, including players that have gone to the Euros, were meant to be quite successful, and they're going for gold. But to have a 0-0 draw against Egypt, where, I mean, Egypt had some opportunities to score and actually win the game, is not a good start for them. New Zealand, Republic of Korea, New Zealand won that one. That was kind of a walk, like a battle for bottom of the table kind of positions. However, they are in the same group, and the teams, one of those teams probably will get through. Okay, so now the big ones. Mexico, France. Wow, what a game. Mexico are there to win. The French team are without some of the Euro stars that are still qualified for the tournament. I mean, it's a difficult one for a lot of these, especially European nations, to release players, because they'd rather compete in the Euros than rest their players for the start of the normal leagues. And then also, in a couple of months' time, they really start the World Cup qualifiers. So, I mean, it's an international break for everybody, but quite a few of those players will be playing in the World Cup qualifiers. But Mexico smashed France. I mean, France had a couple of opportunities to score. Naturally, Mexico with the goalkeeper, I mean, he's played 117 games really for the Mexican national side. Ochoa is a phenomenal player, and he did keep the ball out. However, he also marshaled his team from the back, and I mean, 4-1 win over France, which could have been 5, 6, 7. They were really, really that impressive. Another game I watched was the Australia-Argentina game. I expected a lot from Argentina, and Argentina had maybe the bulk of possession. If you actually look at the stats, besides for the scoreline, you'd think that Argentina won the game. But Australia had the opportunities, and they actually had more than the 2 that they scored. And to win 2-0 against Argentina was a massive upset for the tournament. Argentina were hoping to go for gold. Are they good enough? Can they bounce back? Well, we'll have to see. Romania, Honduras, I thought Romania would walk away with this, but they seemed to score their goal and sit back and let Honduras play. Honduras were actually better than what I thought they were. And I should expect that because they've actually qualified for the Olympics, but I expect a little bit more from Romania. The next big game was the Brazil-Germany game. First half, Brazil were phenomenal, Germany were poor. Second half, Brazil were okay and Germany were phenomenal. The score at halftime was 3-0 to Brazil, and it ended up being 4-2 to Germany, where Brazil actually scored a goal in the 89th minute. It was a typical kind of game that you expect between the 2 teams. With Brazil, a lot of skill, a lot of flair, a lot of diving, a lot of rolling around, a lot of crying in pain. And Germany, very physical, pushing Brazil off the ball, kind of being a little bit forceful. A couple of yellow cards could have maybe been red cards, but actually there was a red card for a second yellow card that Germany got. And funny enough, they played the second half with a player down, and they played a better second half with the player down. But they still relied too much on the strength of the game. And Brazil, of course, were absolutely phenomenal. They played an outstanding game. I think they kind of let a little bit, let Germany get back into the game also because they went off in the second half. And I think Dani Alves is the captain. And I mean, he's 38 years old. He was playing like he was the 23-year-old, if not a 19-year-old. He was running around with so much energy, power, skill. He was back in defense, his forward and attack. He was just incredible on the field. But as a captain, as a person that everybody could look up to, he was really, really phenomenal. I was really impressed by him. I was impressed by a lot of the performances from that Brazilian team, and it's really hard to to talk about some of the players inside, because so many of them played so well. But definitely Dani Alves stuck out, and makes you understand why they actually chose him for the team. They've actually gone for a win. They've gone for gold. They're not going to sit back. They're going to have a tough time against Mexico. Maybe Spain might come right again. Look at what they did in the Euros. They didn't play very well, and suddenly, when it came to the Euros, they were pretty impressive. So, and to the semi-finals and finals, they were pretty impressive. So, who knows what's going to happen later on in the tournament? Tomorrow, there are no games on the football side and the softball side. They play again on Saturday with the women playing. We'll see what happens with those fixtures. I think that a big one is Sweden's playing against Brazil. Sweden-Brazil should be a cracker of a game. Sweden beating America. I know that they're all in the same group, but anyway, Sweden-Brazil should be very, very good. And I think that's the game to look out for. Tomorrow's the opening ceremony. From an event perspective, there are a lot of events on tomorrow. There's a lot of rowing on tomorrow. There's some shooting, archery, but there's nothing that actually leads towards a medal or leads to pretty much the business end of the game. So it's more the qualifiers. You get a lot of the top seeds that will be going through easily without breaking sweat. You'll get some of the nations that have got players, athletes there that are just to a little bit full in numbers. You've got some people that have qualified, they're top of their game in their countries, but in a world perspective, they won't do very well. So it won't be the most exciting of day, but still, it's a great day to watch and see your own countries, especially if you're in a country that's not very well represented. Excuse me. And but it should be a fun game. And then, of course, is the opening ceremony. And I'm not the biggest fan for opening ceremonies. I like to just get straight into the tournament, but a lot of people disagree with me. Actually, I'm sure there's a majority of people that disagree with me. And in my household, more people watch that than the opening ceremony than most of the other events that I'll be watching. So great second day, very exciting second day, very exciting first day, or day -2, day -1 today. And tomorrow's day 0, start of the tournament. So let's have fun and enjoy the rest of the Olympics.